Welcome to episode 2 of Podly, the official Peacemaker companion podcast brought to you by HBO Max and DC. We got butterflies, we've got vigilante, and we've also got white dragon. I don't know, but we have an amazing interview with Chukwudi Iwuji, who plays Murn, so stick around and let's get into this.
Why is there a bald eagle in your car?
It's EAGLY.
EAGLY is your pet eagle.
Yeah.
Is your dog named Doggy?
All right.
Do you have a daughter named Daughtery?
Hey y'all, I'm Nwadiwe.
And I'm Fiona Nova.
And welcome to Podly, the official Peacemaker companion podcast from HBO Max and DC. And we got a dope show for you. But as a reminder, since this is, episode 2 and you might not get it yet, this is the companion podcast. Each episode is going to talk about everything that happened in the episode that is referenced and before that. So if you haven't watched episode 2 yet, hit the pause. Go back, watch it, and come meet us after. It's not a pre-show. This is a post-show. So we'll see you after the show. Look, we got a dope episode ahead of us. So let's just jump right into it. This was a super fun episode, right?
Yeah, this was maybe, I was very excited to see it because episode 1 kind of set it all up for us. So now we're trying to get some answers. So what are we dealing with? Okay, First of all, what the fuck are the butterflies?
We don't know, and so we just know they're a code name.
It's
a code name. We don't know what's going on with them. We don't know if these are robots, if they won't,
or if they were manufactured.
Yeah, manufactured. We don't know what's going on.
I just love that it was Project Butterflies. I think it's a good tie-in with Suicide Squad because it was Project Starfish.
Yeah.
I really did like that. And now we're on to Project Butterfly.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, what is this going to be? What's this next thing going to be?
Yeah.
Peacemaker pulled out this like rune-covered Wi-Fi router.
Yeah, and it's just
sorts.
And we don't know what it is. But then he has to get out. He was outside. He could have ran away, but he had to go inside because he had to get his
grab
clothes.
Some stuff. Yeah. He couldn't find his socks. Which is devastating to hear.
Well, also that's what was fun is like hearing like John Cena curse because like as someone who's like been following John Cena since he was the rapping wrestler, he's always had this like squeaky clean goody persona. Like he's what in wrestling you call a baby face. You're a good guy that you sell to the kids. So he's never done anything raunchy for most of his career, and now we see this new side of him.
We saw the new side of him, which is he does really well.
Oh, it's so great.
He kind of nails. Yeah,
he nails
his
comedic timing is off the charts. It's so fun. But now we're seeing these like two cops.
They're like detectives. They're coming after him. We're introduced to them really because they're gonna be, I feel like they're gonna be important. He's escaping, he's trying to figure out, and then he enters into this random apartment and essentially holds hostage these two just random people, and the woman starts to fall in love with him. That whole interaction was just so, what is happening?
Look, when you just have a partner who's not assertive, and you got someone who comes in and they're wrapping you up with rope, but they're still checking in on you, because that's the important part. You can use the ropes, but make sure you're checking in on
making
the people.
Sure, are you good?
Yeah, are you good? You still good? Let me know.
Exactly. So that was interesting. That was an interesting thing to add, but I think that also just adds to Peacemaker's charm, and you kind of understand where he's coming from.
Well, but it was very interesting too because you're wondering like how the heck is he gonna get out of this? They're gonna go, and then next thing you know, everything leads back to Peacemaker's dad. Looks like Economos did what was good.
Economos is the hero we needed. I know everyone was upset in the show. Everyone was just upset.
Like, why'd you do his dad? I'm like, no.
I'm like, I was okay with how that transpired.
That's exactly who I would have set up. Yeah.
There was nothing in my heart that said that was a wrong thing that happened. And even if it was being framed.
Yeah.
He must have done something else.
Yeah.
It was just about time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, we get the dad now is going to jail, and we finally meet the character, the one and only Vigilante.
So how did you get out anyway? I thought you were in prison for life.
It's a secret.
Dude, I'm your best friend.
No, you're not.
Well, who's your best friend then? Someone you met in prison. I knew it.
Dude, it's EAGLY, obviously.
Another show would have them just be heroes because, most heroes are saving the day and it doesn't matter the collateral or what the battle, the effects of who they're getting or how small the crime is.
Supervillains, superheroes, they are all not one-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
They all have goods, they all have bads.
Yeah.
But I think Vigilante, I don't know, that whole interaction about his dick,
Yeah.
where poor Peacemaker crying in his bed, and he just was like, please, I know your dick is out. I know your dick is out.
Like, just
Please,
turn around and
just
look.
turn-" And he's like, no, I
was.
don't have it. I promise.
Yeah.
What a great friend.
Yeah, he's like, I promise you guys just got to turn around and look. I'm gonna force you to look, so that you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see Peacemaker and Vigilante get together, and they had that appliance shootout.
They did. They
which
had
looked fun.
It looks very fun. I also liked that you can kind of see their relationship because in the beginning it felt like, at least to me, it felt like Vigilante was maybe like this fanboy.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
No, it definitely
but it's like,
felt that way.
They know each other and they've been friends for a while.
Yeah. He said his sidekick was EAGLY. It seemed like his sidekick might be Vigilante.
But it also just seems like Vigilante just follows him everywhere, and Peacemaker's kind of just like, okay, yeah, you can join me, or just like not really like helping, and it's just like, yeah, you can come through.
Yeah, I know.
I like that relationship.
At this point we've tapped in and we're really kind of seeing the cohesion of Peacemaker's place in the DC universe. And it's funny because the Arrowverse has a Vigilante. Right. This one might be my favorite version.
This
though.
is your version. I think it might be. I think I really do like. I really do like how he was portrayed and just how it is. I don't know. I think he's gonna probably be one of my top favorite characters for sure.
You know who's not going to be my top favorite?
No, we know.
His dad.
It's the dad.
Yeah, because he was in jail. He's in jail, and then like all the white supremacists are kneeling to him, and then it was so funny because I really resonate with that guy who was in that chair. He's like, I ain't dying for this. I ain't dying. And good. Also, I like it's real funny of like seeing the white supremacists get on their knees and call him the White Dragon, which. I'm not. I have thoughts, but I'm not. I'm just let it come. I'm gonna let it just come naturally. As we watch. But they all kneel to him, and all the black inmates are just like, oh no.
Yeah, you see, because again,
Here we go again.
coming from just being like a newcomer to this Peacemaker, this universe, really, and not reading like any of the comics, I'm just like. What? I was like, white supremacists in this show? I guess it's not too far off. You'd
be surprised how many white supremacist supervillains they were. Which is funny because, now we're in this like generation where all these like nerds are like, can comics stop being so PC? I'm like, there are so many times Superman has beat up so many racists.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? They've been doing that. They've been that. They've been that.
No, I think this episode was great. It had a lot of things to like, just a lot. I guess we got some of the answers.
Yeah.
Not really, but like we got some.
You got some.
We're slowly,
it's episode 2.
Yeah.
So it'd be a little too early to get all the answers.
We're slowly getting into it. I'm obsessed with Vigilante. He's the best.
Look,
fave character.
Look. If a friend's close enough to have a threesome with, that's a good friend.
It's great. It's a good friend. Yeah.
But I think you're talking about us getting some answers. Let's get some more answers. And,
we've got a great interview.
Yeah, get this interview with Chukwudi.
Ooh, absolutely.
Hello, everyone. And right now, I am so happy to say we're joined by the incredible Chukwudi Iwuji, who plays Murn. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm always happy when people can pronounce my name quite well. The versions I've heard over the years.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for nailing that. You're Nigerian. So
and I cheated because my name's Ife Chukwudi. So
we share half our names are the same, right? Yeah.
Well, but thank you so much for sitting in with us. We're excited to chat about the show. We're excited about your characters. So I'm going to just jump right into it and just start asking questions. Okay. Sure. So Murn seems to have been tasked with saving the world with a band of misfits at his disposal. What is it like dealing with that burden of leadership amongst this dysfunctional team?
Oh, it's hilarious because I think that's a classic example of where life definitely meets art. Because as the actor, as Chukwudi, the actor, working with John and Danielle and Steve and, Jen, I mean, they're just hilarious. They're just hilarious people. And then you have James, who encourages hilarity and madness, from the God mics out there going, try doing this, keep doing this. So there was a side of me that was trying to just keep it together with the actors. And then there's, of course, Murn, the character, trying to keep it together with a team he refers to as the Apple Dumpling Gang. Like that sort of mania you see sort of creeping up in Murn was actually a slight mania creeping up in Chukwudi. So it all works really, really, really nicely. And also my background is just not about improv and all that, When you come from theater, you don't improvise Shakespeare, you don't improvise Chekhov, or you're running into a cul-de-sac. So these guys are great at improving and just going with it. So I'm there just like saying, please God, don't ask me to improvise. Don't ask me to improvise. So that sort of reads as keep your shit together. So actually life and art sort of came together nicely there,
I mean, just like you said, you have such a theater background, but in this show, there seems to be like a lot of vulnerable and emotional moments. How do you ever prepare for a scene like that?
I prepare for those scenes the same way as I prepare for every other scene. And it's really, honestly, I learn my lines. I drill my lines hundreds of times. I always get wary about answering these sort of questions because there's nothing necessarily sexy about how I prepare. I don't go look at salamanders in the Bronx Zoo, or try to imitate the agility of a tiger or give up my apartment and live on the street to know what it's like to feel homeless. I use imagination. And that's what my learning my lines is about. So that when I turn up on set, all that's important is that other person, because all my imagination work and all prep work can never prepare you for the energy of the other actor in front of you and your availability for them. And also this whole thing about getting yourself into an emotional state before the scene is it doesn't make sense to me, because usually in the scene you enter it not emotional and then you get emotional. So the journey is what's interesting, watching you become that. If you've already come in with that, that's kind of a weird cheat that never reads true to me. And it feels like I've come to play the end game instead of come to enjoy the journey. So I just believe in learning the lines, getting yourself relaxed, coming in there, and whatever imagination you've had, those ideas you have them, but be ready for all that to change when there's this other X factor in front of you, which is the other performer and chemistry.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I do think, I think you're right. And it really changes the way I think about, approaching a scene.
We're like getting some 5-star acting classes right now. Seriously.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
100%.
right.
So in this episode, we see Peacemaker trying to escape from the apartment complex, but his priorities get thrown off by some sweet vinyl. If you had to flee a crime scene and could only grab 5 records, what would they be?
Oh, that's not right. 5.
Yeah.
Score by the Fugees. Tom Waits, Mule Variations. I would need some kind of, that's like listening music. I would need sort of music for mood. So for me, my mood setting is usually classical and opera. So I'm going to cheat here and I'm going to make a compilation that's both opera and classical. So has to include, as far as the classical music, I love piano concerto. So Shostakovich's Concerto Number 2, Mozart Concerto 20, 21, 23. And then as far as opera goes, as long as you give me lots of Verdi, La Traviata, has to be in there. I need Marriage of Figaro from Mozart. I need The Elixir of Love. So as long as those are in there. And finally, Peter Gabriel's album So, but I would need you to sneak in a version of him singing Biko from his Peter Gabriel Sings Live concert. Then I'm good. Honorable mention for Barry White, who always makes me happy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice
you have to have that. So that's my collection.
That's a solid collection right there.
So in a similar vein, that the scene where Peacemaker has to essentially hide from the cops and convince strangers to let him in their house. If that were to happen to you, let's say you're fleeing from the cops and you have to hide in a stranger's house, how would you convince them to let you in?
This is really bad. I'm sorry, this isn't me. I love animals and I especially love dogs. But knowing how much I love dogs, I would grab their dog, preferably a small, really cute dog, hold it in front of me and say, if you don't hide me, I'm going to shout, I'm coming out with a gun with your dog in front of me. So if you don't hide me, I'm shouting that and I'm stepping into that hallway with your dog in front of me. And I think they would hide me.
Yeah,
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly, yeah.
I feel so bad. I'm going to get so many complaints. I'm not cruel. I know.
Yeah.
You're right. That was the only right answer, actually. It would let you into their house. You're right.
Like appeal to their wants and needs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's psychology 101. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it seems like, that's a stressful situation. And, we all like to relieve that stress. So much like, Peacemaker and Vigilante did this episode, if you had the chance to take your stress out on some appliances, what weapon would you choose? And what appliance would be your first target?
I hate technology, and at the risk of never becoming a spokesman for Apple, I would take a really good golf club, and I don't even play golf, and I would pretty much smash all my tech. They drive me nuts every day. At some point every day, even prepping for this today, my email for some reason wasn't arriving on my iPad. And I was like, I need that to get the Zoom link. I mean, everything was going wrong. So it would be that. I would take it out on all my technology and it'd feel really good. And again, an honorable mention, if I didn't do that, if it wasn't my technology, something that really bugs me when I go to people's homes are porcelain dolls. I have a problem with porcelain dolls. They're scary. Their eyes follow you around the place, and there's always lots of them. So baseball bat to porcelain dolls. They're not appliances technically, but I would like to smash those up. That's my thing.
Yeah, we'll allow it in this occasion. The porcelain dolls count as appliances, and you can smash them and their creepy eyes up.
Oh yeah,
they follow
I'm
you
all
everywhere.
About it.
Scary.
Yeah, I'm all about it. So we love seeing you play Murn, but what was your favorite part of being Murn and just playing as him?
Always cool to play someone with a dark past, sort of working on redemption. That's always such a great arc for an actor, because there's just so much. You like to sort of live in the darkness, but redemption is something you look for. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love the acting challenge of being British Nigerian, and I've dipped my toe into playing Americans in past, like other things, Underground Railroad and stuff like that, which has been fun. But it was great to have this whole arc of this deeply American, even the name Clemson, which is a very Southern name. I mean, having this deeply steeped American role over the course of a whole series was such a joy for me, working with my dialect coach, Koli Calhoun, and just saying, I've got to become someone else, and coming up with, I've got to find his voice placement, everything energistically is so different, that I enjoyed that sort of level of forensic detail in preparation for him, whether it was working on, vowel substitutions in dialect, or sort of working on what his background is, because there's not much known about him. And James, really, created this character. He's not a character in the comic books, So I had him in my head. He came from West Point. He was the best of the best. He goes into Black Ops. What triggered the slide to make him known as this dangerous character? So I loved all that. I loved immersing myself in that, and I loved coming into work every day, because it's a real gift when the crew are interested. The crew are the real litmus test. When the crew and the grip and all these guys that have seen it 100 times, they're going on to when they're laughing and laughing hard, and the camera is shaking because the camera operator is laughing really hard. You're doing something really fun. So I really enjoyed playing, really having a go at this very American of American characters for me, in that environment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Murn is one of my favorites. I think he's like a really awesome character, and you really kind of see that there's so many layers to him, which I bet it was so much fun to play and to experiment with.
It really was, especially with that apple dumpling gang of people, where my instinct, is a bit like when you see Vince Vaughn play the straight man in a comedy.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get in on all the crazy fun with them, but I had to keep it together. That was a very fun challenge of being that guy that just keeps it together with this crew, Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Iffy, guess what time it is?
Yeah,
Your
it's
favorite
time.
segment.
Yeah, it's time for the EAGLY mail. So to wrap out the interview, we're going to take a question from the community. What unexpected challenges did you face on set or in your performance that you overcame?
Well, there was one really funny one at the beginning, which is a bit of a segue, but my first day on set, I arrive and there's like 100 people there. I'm already nervous, worrying if the cow will still be there to pick me up at the end of the day, thinking they've made a mistake. They actually thought I was Chiwetel Ejiofor, not Chukwudi Iwuji. They've hired the wrong actor. And I had to drill, use an electric drill and drill some screws into a tree in the scene. Now, the problem is I'm the sort of guy that when I change a light bulb, I feel like I've accomplished something major. I do not do DIY. I mean, at one point I had the drills set to reverse instead of forward. The nail kept falling. It was a nightmare. I was sure I was going to get fired. So that was the first day challenge. But overall, the challenge for me was like, and every actor, I feel, at least for me, I still have to get over an imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
That, do they really want me? Am I really doing this? Am I really doing a James Gunn project? Is that really James Gunn directing me? Am I acting with these guys? Am I playing this Clemson Murn, this ex? I mean, it's a dream to like be a cool guy that knows how to handle a gun and be like, I mean, it's all that stuff. So for me, the biggest challenge was dropping into that, literally dropping in vocally, physically, an economy of movement. I mean, those guys think in a different way. You see them, you see guys like that. They're very economical, with how they move and stuff, and learning that and trusting that, and then letting it all go. So that, like we said at the beginning of this segment, so that the most important thing, which all great drama is two people talking to each other, being able to let that go, trust it's there, and know that you're going to do that. So it was massive leaps of faith for me every day, but it was such a worthy challenge because I really enjoyed the texture of this character, because so much was going on with him that he never says, as Fiona mentioned, like there's so much underneath the surface with him that you've just got to trust that because you're living it, it's showing, because you can't just show it. Does that make sense? So that was a great learning curve, even at this stage of my career for me as an actor, to play a role like that,
Mm-hmm. Seemed like you had so much fun with the character, and also just with all your other coworkers. It looked like such a fun time shooting. So
we genuinely did have we had such a magical time. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's so great to hear.
Yeah.
Everyone's been really great.
I know.
Great.
I'm so excited to see the journey of Murn this season and the rest of Peacemaker. But thank you so much for coming to chat with us. It was so fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was really easy. Thank God. Not like setting up was, but the interview part was very easy. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you. And I guess we'll get back to the rest of the show, Fiona.
I just pretended to look at my fake watch on my wrist, so you know what time it is.
What time is it?
It's time for the Peace Prize.
Ooh, Peace Prize.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Peace Prize is a prize we give out every episode from a moment in the episode that really stuck with us in a good way.
Yeah.
Last episode, we had the EAGLY hug, but we got something a little different this week.
Yeah,
What
this
prize is
week,
it?
listen, we got some vulnerability with Peacemaker, okay? He's sad. He's deciding if violence truly is the answer.
Ooh.
Which it
Is
is.
yes.
Yes,
It
which
is.
is a yes. But we also have his stalker friend vigilante that comes
Yeah.
up, tries to console him in some way.
Yeah.
So I think the prize we're going to give is the Death to Peace prize, which is when Vigilante and Peacemaker go out there and just shoot some appliances.
Look, cinema has taught us long, long ago that the best way to let out a little anger is to take it out on some old appliances.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got to see that again, and using high-powered weaponry too.
And I thought that was so cool. Just having high power weapons in like a forest, just like shooting like microwaves and stuff. It's great. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I also think like, again, like I know we're joking about it, but you really do see that relationship that they have, which I'm all about. Relationships that people have with others. And I really do feel like even though Vigilante is that kind of weird stalkerish fanboy kind of guy, I think Peacemaker really does care for him, and I think they're like a really good pair. So, I think they also just jump, like, the riffing off of one another is just amazing. So I don't know. I think this deserved the Peace Prize for this week. I love them. I also really love Vigilante.
Yeah.
Number one fangirl here.
I think we're all becoming fans of Vigilante at this point. But unfortunately, that's all we have for this episode. That's all we have. So, you know, thank you for watching and listening to Podly, the official Peacemaker companion podcast from HBO Max and DC. Now, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to tune in to the next episode where we break down episode number 3. You know, you get it now, you know, after episode 2 comes 3, and then after 3 is going to come 4.
Yeah. Counting numbers. And also, if you want some amazing merch, just head on over to shop.dccomics.com and you could just get some sweet Peacemaker merchandise and show off your fan spirit for the show.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and let us know what were some of your favorite moments in the show. And if you want to get tapped into the source material, remember, you can get that DC Universe Infinite membership, and you'll have access to all the comics, all the things this show touch into, because look, James Gunn is doing some deep cuts, and with DC Universe Infinite, you'll be able to find those cuts.
And I will be registering for a membership. That will be me.
Okay. And of course, make sure you stream Peacemaker and Podly on HBO Max so you can stay up to date with all this dopeness.
Ooh, we love it. I can't wait for episode 3, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.
Yeah. So see you around, and keep the peace.
Keep the peace.
Yeah,
I love it. We're doing it. We're keeping it.